With massive layoffs in nearly every sector, weakness in manufacturing, car sales and housing, and the biggest one-month decline in the trade deficit since the financial crisis, the economic picture is not looking good, which might explain why so many billionaires are loading up on gold, including hedge fund manager John Paulson and real estate mogul Sam Zell. Bottom line, now is the time to own gold, which is why the experts at Stansberry Research just stepped forward with a major gold prediction, arguing gold could soar as high as $3,000 by the end of the year, possibly even higher. You can find out why and get instant access to their #1 gold investment today. It's not bullion, an ETF, or a mining stock, but in the past, this gold strategy could have made you nearly 50x your money. Considering how quickly the price of gold has been moving in recent weeks, you don't want to waste any time missing out on the gains these experts believe are in store for this gold stock. To get a copy of his new free report with all the details, simply go to goldmaniareport.com. Again, that's goldmaniareport.com for a free copy of his new report. Hi, this is Daniela Cambone. Welcome back to the Daniela Cambone Show here on Stansberry Research, talking gold prices with my guest today. The yellow metal seeing its best start in over a decade. Joining me today is Mark Yaxley, Managing Director over at Strategic Wealth Preservation, SWP. They are a bullion storage provider based in the Cayman Islands. Mark, always good to see you. It's beautiful and sunny. I know you're in the vault, but not in the vault, right?
I'm right outside of the vault today, Daniela, and yes, it's about 80 degrees and sunny. It's winter here in Grand Cayman, but
wow.
For us Canadians, it feels a lot like summer, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, excited to get your thoughts on the gold market. We're also speaking the day ahead of Valentine's Day. So we're going to talk some beautiful products you can gift your loved ones. But first, and Mark has brought us some very cool products. But first, let's get your take on the gold price. I mean, I feel there's a lot of energy and excitement surrounding gold right now. We're seeing, people coming to conferences again. Very bullish forecasts for gold. What's your take? Does this time feel different for gold?
Well, you know me, Daniela, I don't like to be overly optimistic because it seems like every time throughout my career I got really excited about gold, you end up putting your foot in your mouth a little bit. So I'm approaching this with kind of guarded optimism, but I can tell you the energy that I'm hearing from investors, from other members of the gold community is that everybody feels we are set up for a strong run in 2023, and we saw that starting in November of 2022. Gold's up 15% since November 1st. It's outperforming the S&P, the Dow, NASDAQ, and even Bitcoin. So, there's definitely been some momentum there. On the retail side, there's quite a bit of activity. I can tell you a lot of larger purchases happening right now, which means sophisticated investors are recognizing this as an opportunity to buy some gold and silver. So yes, we're feeling it right now.
Okay, so that's really interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, premiums have come down on gold and silver products. So are people seizing the moment?
Yeah, that's really interesting development. Premiums were really high since COVID began. They were as high, and we've talked about this previously on your show, they were as high as we've seen them in my tenure. Right now, was just pricing out some silver for a client this morning, and I had to second guess our trader. I said, "Wow, are these premiums that you just quoted me correct?" Because they've come down dramatically. So you find yourself in this interesting situation where the price of gold is climbing, and there seems to be more gains ahead for gold and silver, and yet the premiums have softened quite a bit. So yes, to answer your question, if I'm an investor, I feel pretty confident that the price is going to continue rising because the table is set for that, and we can talk about why that is. But the premiums are quite soft right now, so take advantage while they last.
I mean, can you give us some insights behind, what determines the premiums and why we see these drastic changes? Is it just because there's been a flood of new inventory that's come in, or why? Any insights?
My suspicion right now is that this is a fairly short-term opportunity, and the mints and the refiners, they work kind of like on a pretty strict production schedule, right? They don't increase or decrease their production it doesn't vary very much from week to week and from month to month. We did see a slowdown in the demand from retail investors for physical products. Kind of November, December, and January were actually, fairly slow. So I think there is quite a bit of inventory on the market right now that's available. So that's probably one reason. It's only this recent uptick in gold that was, we saw a lot of price action towards the end of January and early February. That's really where this excitement is coming from, and this buying is actually quite recent. So I think there was quite a bit of inventory buildup in the latter half of 2022, which buyers are now able to take advantage of in the retail space.
Well, that's interesting because I'm sure some buyers are like, oh, gold's up right now, silver's up right now, maybe I'll wait. But that's an important factor. Premiums have come down, and just something else I want to share with you. I just had a recent conversation with Adrian Day of Adrian Day Asset Management, and he was saying that he's getting so many calls, interest in gold, an amount that he hasn't seen since 1996. And I was asking him, well, are you seeing, younger demographics or who's calling? And he told me not quite so. It's mostly over 50 crowd, but folks really concerned right now about what's going on in the world, the geopolitical uncertainty. They just don't feel safe. They don't know what to do with their money, and gold seems like the only solution. Can you share a little bit of concerns you're hearing from your clients and what's motivating people to be in precious metals right now?
Well, it's interesting. I had lunch when I was down here in Cayman. I got invited to a lunch, and all of the other attendees were certified financial advisors. So very intelligent people that study the equities markets every day and make recommendations to high net worth clients that they service out of Cayman. And at one point, we went around the table and did like a poll of how they felt about 2023 and 2024. How likely are we going to go into a recession? And how were they feeling about the equities markets? And I can tell you the consensus of what they expect from the equities markets is actually quite poor in 2023 and 2024. They're quite worried about how they're going to position their clients. So this is a reflection of the larger market, and really this is where gold and silver come in as a safe haven investment. So that's probably what Adrian is referring to, is that the Main Street is worried about what is going to happen in the next 12 months. And when Main Street is worried, they start looking for outs, and gold and silver is one of those outs. And so I'm not surprised to hear that from Adrian.
Yep.
The other thing that is really worth keeping a close eye on, and I've been saying this now for the last 6 months, is the U.S. dollar, strength of the U.S. dollar. It correlates directly to the performance of gold and silver, as we know. Now, the USD has come down about 8% from its high, but it's still got ways to go towards its long-term median. I think it's about 7 or 8% above that long-term median right now. So if you factor a continuing softening of the USD, even though we had that jobs number that came out, 2 Fridays ago, that gave a little momentum back to the USD, but there is a general downward trend. If we get another 7 or 8% downward trend there, you're going to see gold and silver move up about 7 or 8% for gold, and silver is probably going to go up anywhere between 10 to 15%. So that puts us at gold at, $2,050 an ounce, $2,100 an ounce. It puts us at silver, $26, $27 an ounce. So there's definitely something to be excited about, and those are the things I'm looking at.
Well, actually, you just made me think of a report I read from StoneX, which just came out with, saying that they expect gold and silver to gain around 14% by the end of 2023, but they actually are eyeing platinum for the biggest returns. I know you and I speak so much about gold and silver, but are you getting interest on palladium, platinum?
Yeah, I read the same. I can't say that we've had a tremendous amount of demand for platinum, but again, that's, we're just one player in a much bigger market, and it is one of those metals that most retail investors won't even consider buying, right? So I haven't heard it yet, but I did read the article myself. I found it was quite interesting. I do own platinum. I think everyone should have some platinum and palladium in their portfolio, although palladium, on the other hand, is having a rough go. And a lot of that is based on industrial demand. There mustn't be as many cars rolling off the lines right now. Yeah.
But I get the investor's predicament, right? Like and I know it doesn't have to be an and or, but if you're faced with gold or platinum, I mean, naturally, I would think most investors are like gold, like no brainer.
Yeah, gold is the pillar of any precious metals portfolio. So always start with gold, always have a decent allocation. Your 5 to 15% of your total investment portfolio should be allocated or can be allocated to gold. Silver is your trade. Silver is volatile and it's done well. It's up 17% since November 1st. It's outperformed gold by 2%. Nothing really meaningful there, but it just goes to show that it can outperform gold under certain market conditions. And platinum and palladium, those are your kind of long-term industrial plays. I'd like to go back to that article by StoneX and really understand their arguments if it's going to decouple from palladium, because that metal does seem to be struggling right now.
Like I mentioned, we're speaking the day ahead of Valentine's. I probably should have worn red for this segment. But for folks who maybe want to get a last-minute gift, why not think about precious metals? Forget the Cartier love bracelet. It only has $800 worth of gold, and you're paying like $5,000. Let's talk. Some products that are popular right now. I think you brought us a sampling of things.
I did. First of all, I'm very flattered to be your Valentine, Daniela.
Yes.
So thank you for thinking of me on this special occasion. But I did bring out some products. Different price points. We'll kind of start towards the bottom. I talk a lot about this coin. It's the silver maple leaf by the Royal Canadian Mint. Like if you're maybe in a newer relationship or you don't have a lot of money to spend on your loved ones, this coin is probably going to cost you about $28 US right now. You can take delivery. Those premiums have really come down, like you said. So maybe a good product.
So if you're not yet sure if he or she is the one, that's what you want to get.
Yeah, and it's also a good test to see if they're interested in gold and silver as an investment like we are. So, you don't want to go full gold on them and not be sure that they're going to appreciate it. But for those
I love that. Don't go full gold yet.
Don't go full gold on your first date. But for those of us who know that their loved ones, like my wife, for example, does enjoy receiving precious metals, the Gold Eagle is a wonderful coin. I don't know. Yeah, you can probably see that pretty well. That's going to run you about $2,000 right now, and that is something that can be passed around generation to generation, or really will increase in value, obviously, as prices go up. But I thought for the ladies, getting a little bit more creative. I know a lot of women, and we talked about platinum. Women love platinum rings. It is the shiniest metal of all, so it draws attention. And if you couple that with one of the cutest animals on the planet, that's a platinum kangaroo by the Australian Mint, by the Perth Mint. That could be a really nice gift. That'd be about $1,000 US. And if you believe StoneX, that price is going to go up significantly. And last but not least, this is probably the most, when we show people products when they come visit us and we pull products out of the vault to show them, this is probably the product that people just kind of all over. Yeah,
I think I know what it's going to be.
What do you think it's going to be?
Is it Valcambi?
You're awfully close. Maybe you meant the Lady Fortuna.
Lady Fortuna, pardon.
So, pardon. So this is the Pam Swiss Lady Fortuna. She's the goddess of good fortune and wealth. And this bar is just so beautiful. She's a striking lady, so I thought she'd be appropriate for the Valentine's edition.
Well, if my husband is watching, I love that one. Absolutely love that one. It's one of my favorites. And Monica's a smart woman. Yeah. he has to watch. So no, I love that roundup, and it's not too late to put in your orders, folks. But just some more insights in terms of are you seeing more silver buyers versus gold right now? I mean, you said that silver's had a good run up in terms of interest across the board, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, silver, it goes through long periods where, silver investors get really discouraged and the price hadn't really done too much. This is not that time. Silver's been really exciting. It was up over $24 at one point. It's come back down a little bit. But again, if you go back to the fundamentals, the weakening of the US dollar, people still looking for safe haven investments as they question the equities market. Silver has a potential recession. Let's not forget, everyone's, finally admitting that we're going to face a recession here. Silver is really in a good position to have a strong run. So yeah, we are seeing more demand, and people should be considering having silver in their portfolio right now.
Just one last thought, Mark. I know when you're on, I get a lot of feedback. Like, you guys always talking about buying But what about, selling? If they have gold or silver or platinum, palladium, they want to understand how difficult the process is if they do need to, liquidate that.
Right. So a couple of quick tips there. You're going to want to buy products that have good brand recognition and liquidity so that when it comes time to sell, you don't have any difficulties doing so. So stick to the brand names. We've talked about that before. You'll want to sell to a reputable dealer. So someone that's going to pay you a fair price. That should be around the spot price, give or take 1%, depending on the product that you own and the market conditions. And lastly, we've talked about this in the past. If you want to make it really, really easy, you can store it with companies like SWP or other vaults around the world where you can buy and sell within the vault. You don't have to take it home. You don't have to ship it back. It's already there. It's in your box, and you can liquidate it whenever you want.
Well, on that note, I appreciate you coming on with that. It's always fun to look at products. And I know it's a commercial holiday, call it what you want, but it's still fun. So happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, Danielle. It's important to remember the ones we love. And
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure seeing you. You've made my day.
Well, mine as well. Well, we'll see you soon. And we hope you enjoyed this segment. So be sure to stay tuned to the Daniela Cambone Show here on Stansberry Research and sign up at danielacambone.com to stay on top of it all. That's it for me. Thanks for watching.
Expressed on this program are solely those of the contributor and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Stansberry Research, its parent company, or affiliates.